by the very same object, a curious thing to witness, the shuffling of conduct from ever-changing motives. A lonely man, plain and light, unlucky in love, friendship and sight, but gifted was he to the art of cakes, summery, golden and featherweight. As the baker of unrivaled luxury, people of the world extolled his ability, but most impressive was his generosity, as most of his cakes were complimentary. Devotees traveled far across distant lands, others traveled across the seas. Gratefully they assembled to indulge eagerly, and they did passionately, and so it began, a fellowship of streamed reverie. With the passage of time and some hidden reasons, confections worsened unexpectedly. From the unexplained but slow degradation, hardship soon followed lamentably. Unaccustomed to stress and anxiety, eggshells baked in the delicacies, and uncontemplated variety, denial and struggle persisted. All were told to remember his kindness, be reasonable enough to wait, be also inclined to forgiveness of easily made mistakes. Above all, be charitable with affection, as it was his truest and only remuneration. To a masked enemy, news travelled at the outset. Only the better half of the story, of the baker's success appraised, antecedent to the controversy. Street talk of famous cakes inflamed forgotten animosity. At the height of her jealous rage, she schemed to create difficulty. Hiding behind honeyed smiles and curtains, some advice and syrupy assuagement, but in the street with wretchedness, persuaded some to subscribe to her pettiness, that long after her work was completed, disgust and disapproval constructed. She never did return to the shadows. Why should she? She felt completely empowered. With the passage of time and some hidden reasons, eggshells were harder to tolerate. Accompanied by mixed reactions, consternation assailed him born out of hate. Devoid of worthwhile explanations, many watched silently. Surpassed were limits of their patience, others voiced their anger ruthlessly. Opponents by misguided intentions defend motley versions of dignity. Convinced of purposeful aggression, bared their detestable personality. It all culminated with mass hysteria, people flinging cake at each other. Onto the muddle they tumbled, some creamed and others smothered. until the last of the desserts were crumbled. Eventually, the cause of his misfortunes came to light. Overburden and fatigue. His mistake was an oversight. Luckily, he was equipped with clever wit. His troubles had not dampened his spirits. Easily he found resolution, assured to avert reoccurrence, but the feeling of guilt was burdensome, that during a public announcement he made a tearful appeal for vindication. For compassion to fill his void, in place of goodwill, he thought, gone, completely destroyed. In times of trouble, as the saying goes, there is to be found a silver lining. For every connection, friendship, or love goes through a semblance of filtering. Some left because they could not trust him, abandoned him for the silliest of talks. An ugly man, they thought, should not make cakes. Indeed, half-baked reasoning of this sort was found mostly in empty heads. But the value was in those who stayed, ashamed of their behavior and their foolish agendas. Through assistance and dedication, they assured him of their genuine affection. Including one unlikely person who said, "Not all mistakes are crimes." Remorseful was his foe, or biding her time. Surely soon enough, by the very same object, we will know.